Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to a special afternoon edition of Breakthrough Walls, Ken Walls talking to Don Green, whatever you want to call it. Don Green is the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, has done more to promote Napoleon Hill's works across this planet than anyone I know, actually. So, Don, welcome, man. I'm glad to have you on here.
Thanks, Ken. I absolutely love what I'm doing, and I think that's one part of. If you don't love what you're doing, don't do it no more. We just, as far as I know, we only passing through this place one time, but it's amazing that you be around people and they hate their jobs. They can't wait till Friday and they dread Monday. I mean, golly, there's too many things out there to do. I would rather go back to when I was 5 or 6 years old, picking up pop bottles along the road and checking them in for. Back then, you got a penny, probably a dime now. I'd find something or other that I could enjoy doing, but
Yeah.
it. I said I'm not promoting it, but I'll mention it. I'm working on a thing. I got a lot of material. It's on a planning book, a career planning book. In other
Yeah.
words, trying to especially a young person, walk through it, and if they'll answer the questions and do it, to try to help them find something other that they would enjoy doing. Because I don't think you can have good results if you don't enjoy what you're doing. Uh, I just think that's part of it. Fact is, on one of the interviews, I said there's a bunch of P's you can use to plan your life: a person's purpose, and then some planning, and then some passion, and then some persistence, and you'll get there. You'll get there if you'll just apply those things. But
So
most people,
true. So
but
true.
I wanted to do this on achieving your goals because I'm not knocking people tens of $10,000 seminars or buy the books and what have you. But
Hey, look
because
at mine.
yeah,
Mine says autographed copy.
that makes it worth at least a nickel more. But I think it's if we follow it through what we talk about, I think it would really help. And of course, we know one of the most important things in success is to have a personal initiative. Um, and it starts off with to write your own success stories, to defining your major purpose. But initiative, I'll tell you a little short story. One year, I don't normally the awards I get. People, they're kind to me, and that's nice of them, and I thank them. But one time I was curious. I got an award from the Sam Walton as a
Wow.
community service award, and I thought, God, I own Walmart stock and I visit Walmart, but we're in a little old bitty town here. They ain't nobody knows who I am. And but anyway, I called them and they said I got a lot of nominations and so forth, to reciting what I'd done in the community. And part of it, I got a plaque and I got a cap with Walmart on it, and I got his book. And Sam tells the story was he liked to visit all his stories. He was a
Yeah.
down to earth, and he visits the store. And old boy was manager. Sam looks down there close to the checkout, and they stuff on the floor, just trash or dirt or whatever. And he tells the manager, said that needs to be cleaned up. And the manager says, "Oh, we have a guy come by in the afternoon, and he'll clean up around the checkout lines." So old Sam goes to the back and asks for a broom and a dustpan.
Yep.
And so Sam comes back out there and cleans it up. Now, I think he was trying to teach old boy a little bit of personal initiative. Simply seeing something that needs to be done and doing it without being told, and doing it with a proper attitude.
Well,
And
I have a question about this personal initiative thing, because you talked about a person finding their major definite purpose in life, and isn't that what you said? Major, yeah. And Zig Ziglar talked a lot about that. I know Napoleon Hill talks a lot about that. But what if my question for you, Don, and I'm sure you have an answer for it. What if somebody doesn't know what their purpose is and they've struggled to find it?
Well, you know, we got a whole thing on that thing. I'll publish sometime on finding your purpose. It is a good one, uh, but I think starting off was ask yourself, what do you like to do? In other words, I have a niece that just graduated from vet school, and believe it or not, she's valedictorian, and
Wow.
had a hard time getting her in the veterinary school because she went out of state, and it's harder to get in vet school than it is medical school. So I found a
Wow.
little school down at Lincoln Memorial University, down where the three states come together, and an old university that was set up to uh, Abraham Lincoln to award the state for sitting on the side of the Union. But anyway, she graduated, but she grew up all her life loving to be around pets, animals. She loved animals. So you got to find something that you like. You know, if you like to write, if you like to uh, tell jokes, or what you like to do, then you can study it. You know, Ken, you and I was sitting out having a having a hot tea or a Coca Cola or whatever, and we get to talk about what we want to do, and you'd say you always wanted to be a certain something or other. Well, you could start studying it. Someone said you could study a few months on one subject, like for example, frogs. I have a story about it. It said if you studied every bit of the material out there you could find on frogs, you become a world renowned expert.
Yep.
You know, if something other, it needs to be something other you like to do. So many young people, I think, go to school to please their parents. Their parents, daddy's a lawyer, wants your son to be a lawyer, and that's the worst reason in the world. Or someone develops something other. I'm,
Yeah.
I want, I'm going to make a lot of money. Well, if the goal is making money, you're probably not going to do very well. And just go out and start selling drugs if you just want to make money. If you find something that you like to do, and it's something another people either you got to sell something other. It's either something people want or something they need. Either one of them will drive the market, and you find out what they want or what they need, and if you can supply it a little faster, a little better product, or give a little
Yeah.
better service or whatever, you're going to do okay. But you got to find something other, like you said. It's okay when you're 15, 18, 20, but somewhere or another up in your 30 or 40, you ought to find out what you like to want to do. Just like it's evident fact what you're doing, you're doing it because you like to doing it. If you
Yep.
don't, you don't do it no more. And you can get pretty good at anything if you have a passion for it because you want to study it. Me, as I read every self-help book and everything I can get my hands on, and more I know, the more I realize what I don't know, because it's a learning process every day with
Sure.
this social media and stuff that come by. I mean, I started in 2000 with the foundation. There was no internet. That's hard to believe. In the year 2000, there was no internet. So they never done anything with the foreign market. They had Japan. Well, I got me a book, a catalog was published. It was about $295, if I recall. It listed publishers all over the world. Big old thick book. I mean, it's probably 4 or 5 inches thick. And
Wow.
so I just started out and it's listed alphabetically. I just started off and they listed their name, their address, their fax number, and so forth. They told how many books they published previous years and what their specialty was. So I just went down through there and selected them, and ones that had self-help and business and so forth. And if they'd published, 20, 30, 40 books or something another, and uh, gosh, and I'd write them and longhand. And I was sitting in the office, just myself with a little desk about 3 by 6. It was given to me, and I went to Walmart and bought a phone and a built-in fax machine. And I had a little office in the cleaners. I had a dry cleaning business. I knew I was going to be using it to look after my real estate and all, not be running in and out the house. Need a little office to meet people, so I put in a separate phone line. and had to keep the door shut because of the equipment noise. But I would write those things out a day. And so the lady that was a secretary with me, worked with me at the bank. Notice I said with me, nobody ever worked for me. Worked
Right.
with them. I did my part. And she would come by the evening away from home, and she would type them up at the night, drop them off the next morning on the way to work. And I would fax them in foreign countries. And the inquiries just come in, just one, I mean, right after another. They want to Think and Grow Richer. They want certain books. Well, what do I have to do? I didn't have no PDF to send them. I had to do FedEx, and I'm running off the bat. I'm starting running $5, $6, $7, $8,000 a month FedEx bill. But so when
Wow.
the internet came out, that was an absolute blessing, because if you're sitting over in Germany and you want a couple of our books, you're not very likely to license them and pay me a good advance on them if you're not even able to read the books.
Right.
So we sent the books out, and that wasn't assured that they was going to buy them, but at least we had a chance to review them. So, but they only had 16 books when I started, so that wasn't too awful bad to get 16 books and get them
Wow.
on PDF. But then as we started doing more books, today we have 125 or something like that. They tell me I've published more than 100 some since I've been here. I'm only talking about English. I'm not talking about the 500 plus foreign publishers. The other day I looked, we got 40 some publishers in Russia alone.
Wow.
And but we are in Iran, Iraq, and Turkey. I mean, you name it, Ukraine. I mean, I had to laugh when a couple of months ago I licensed Ukraine, Outwitting the Devil in Ukraine. I
Wow.
wonder what they're thinking when they licensed that book, Outwitting the Devil in Ukraine, with all the problems and they were the money. And through all this bit, we never had any trouble. We've never had any trouble with all the money is always handled by wire. And
Yeah.
we've only since I've been here, and it was last year, I've only had uh, one intercepted was $25,000 from France, and someone intercepted it and had it diverted to. They set a count up in Chase, Manhattan, and
Wow.
they touched them people and told them that our bank had changed, and they wired the money to account in Chase, Manhattan in New York, which wasn't us. It's the only
So
time we've had anything happen. But
let me ask you a question, because I've had you on. I don't even know how many times I've had you on live stream now, and we've done Amazon, but you've written or published all of these books. Obviously, the most famous book, and I've heard that this book has made more millionaires than any other book ever written. Um, what made you decide to write this book, Achieving Your Goals?
well,
Why does the world need this?
well, I think it just kind of condensed what Hill's talking about. The I mean, I don't have anything. Used to attend a lot of the seminars, and you can always learn something from them. But
Yep. Yep.
but there's a little bit more to that, and that's the same way with Read and Think and Grow Rich. I wrote the book Napoleon Hill's Secret because he used the word action 77 times,
Mm,
and, and which means no matter what you're thinking and how excited you are, you got to say you got to go out there and make an attempt and take action to get some results, because it's not going to fall out of the sky to you without doing something other. And so I tried to stress the points of the things with the if you got your goal is start off with taking personal initiative, like the example we talked about, Sam. That's simply personal initiative, something that needs to be done. You go ahead and do it without being told, and you do it with the right attitude. You don't say, well, now they hired me for this. Well, and that's outside of my job or whatever. But if it's something promoting you or the people you work with, and it needs to be done, you go ahead and do it,
yeah.
and you'll get recognized for it. there's a guy, and I won't tell his name because he probably kicked me. He's a real private guy, but I'm sure he's worth uh, more than 1 billion. He's in the manufacturing business. But he told me in June 1975, he started a bank when he was 29 years old. He said, Don, you do, and he read the same books. His dad was a coal miner. He said, but he went off to Virginia Tech and got degrees in engineering. He's got a string of patents a mile long. He said, you do a little extra one day, it probably won't matter. Do it for a week, probably nobody will notice it. They said, if you work harder than all the people around you, one of these days you could be the success the world dreams about. And what he's talking about is personal initiative. It's seeing, not just doing your job, but doing what needs to be done. And not only that, but doing it without being told. And you'll get recognized for it. And I tried to cover things that would help you achieve your goals after you once made the goal. And that personal initiative, that's doing what needs to be done without being told. And then we talked about the mastermind alliance. You know yourself is, well, like on this technology stuff, I'm pretty well lost without someone around me. As my wife said, Don don't do nothing to get somebody to do it for him. But there's a whole lot to that. I mean, I know you find people that's in your business and your trade that you learn from. That you learn from. I mean, you've heard me tell it before. If monkeys can learn from monkeys, surely we can learn from each other.
Amen.
We have to be around people that knows more than we do. And for my part, it's not that hard to. That's not hard to do. But and of course, Hill wrote.
I want to ask you something, Don. So because I just love your wisdom. You're just I just love it. You know, you grew up. I don't know if you grew up in poverty, but you grew up in without a lot of money, didn't you?
Yeah, Dad was an underground coal miner. We never had running water. We didn't have a bathroom in the house since high school. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
we eat good because we farm, raise garden and stuff. And mother, she put up hundreds of cans of anything from peaches to, apples and
Yeah.
sauce and anything you can imagine could be canned. She
So
canned it.
so here's my question. So no, I already knew you didn't grow up with a bunch of money, but um so everybody has, I believe everybody, excuse me, I'm still getting over bronchitis. But everybody has a mental ceiling, if you would, of how much money they can make or earn or what their net worth can be. And they have a tendency, I believe, unconsciously to navigate their life until they hit that ceiling and then they stop. And then they got to get back to that ceiling and then they stop. And so my question for you, and this book is phenomenal. I've started reading. I'm about halfway through, but the people that are unconsciously living a life where they're hitting that invisible ceiling. John Maxwell calls it the law of the lid. But they're hitting that ceiling. How does, I mean, I assume you have a net worth of at least a couple $1,000s now, but like how do you break through that? How do you teach people to break through that ceiling that's holding them back in life?
Well, they have to learn to develop a belief system. And I've used one of Ralph Waldo Emerson's quotes, and I think it explains it all if they would just realize it. And I'll include myself in it. He said, if we only knew what we was capable of, we would simply amaze ourselves. We are each capable of doing so much more. And I've tried to use an example. Sometimes I use Roger Bannister. In 1954, he was a medical student over in England.
Yep.
And nobody had ever run a 4-minute mile. The record that stood was 4 minutes and some odd seconds by a guy from Scotland. And it was in 1892. The record stood from 1892 to 1954. And Roger Bannister was the first person that run a mile in under 4 minutes. Now, the doctor said you couldn't do it. The heart wouldn't stand it. It was just accepted by most of the people in the world that you couldn't run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Roger Bannister thought he could do better than that, and he was just an amateur, and he finally did it. Well, here's what happens, Ken. After he wants to run it, you can look it up on the internet. 1954, he ran a 4-minute mile under 4 minutes, the first person. Today, there's been several hundred people run a 4-minute mile.
Yep.
So things are only impossible until somebody does it.
Right.
Even high school boys has run a 4-minute mile, less than 4-minute mile. So we have to develop a belief system. I know one place I read Napoleon, he talked about like things that holding you back. He said, can't imagine there's a little demon sitting there on your shoulder. He said, well, Ken, you can't do that. What do you mean having your own show? You don't know the right people. That takes money. You ain't got the money. You're going to be embarrassed. Your wife's already told you to get you a job at one of the fast food places. And he said, first thing you do, you knock that little demon off and says, I will show you. And so I think we have to develop a belief system that me is, I have a little bit of internal dissatisfaction. I think I have a decent attitude, but I always know I can do a little bit better. Mr. Stone stressed that. He said, we always, and that's what gets you up in the morning. You know, you can do a little bit better. You can reach a few more people. And I think not being satisfied, that little internal dissatisfaction is enough to drive you. I mean, the money's fine, but I know the more that I do and the more it comes up, then that simply means I can help another kid or a few more kids and whatever. That's the reason last year I started a fund for the high school kids in our area of 8 counties plus one incorporated town, that they can take our online course through the university. We pay for it. We recruit them. We pay for it. They handle the listing. We give them what I set up, and they put it online. And they get 3 hours credit plus a scholarship, and
Wow.
we pay for it. And the fund, we started last year, and it's got, as of today, it's separate from everything else we do. We keep them sick. We have 7 different scholarships. This one's $1,750,000, so it'll be $2 million real quick. And that will pay the tuition for about 300 and some students to take a 3-hour credit course. So
hey, there's your nephew on screen. Do you see him, Mike?
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, I'm trying to keep him straight. He's my favorite nephew, Mike.
Don't let the others hear that.
Yeah, they probably will. That's that said. Mommy like me best, saying that's what they all said.
Yeah. So you put this book out and you wrote it, right? You wrote it based on the principles of Napoleon Hill. You started to talk about the Mastermind Alliance, and I took you off track there. Talk about the Mastermind Alliance?
Well, I hear all kinds of things. I think the guys, some of them think it's a bunch of guys sitting around drinking beer and eating pizza and talking about how great you are and what are we going to do. And that's not it. If we follow Napoleon Hill, and of course, he learned to mastermind from Andrew Carnegie, and that's the best example. Carnegie he had a belief in his that he could make steel, and it was a need, but it was a splintered operation, a little bit here, a little bit there, and it was real expensive. And of course, the general public and the news media, they thought he's going to buy these competitors up and then raise prices. I forgot the percentage. He cut the percentage down to where it caused the Industrial Revolution because the steels could be so cheap and so forth. But he didn't know about making steel. He went to England and studied an operation, and then he put the people together. He hired what he thought was the best chemists. He got the lawyers, he got the accountants, and he got the people to put them together. And he said it was everybody trying to accomplish a same goal, which is making steel at a reasonable price and working in perfect harmony. And which is extremely important. And he said that was his job, was to maintain harmony among the people. And the fact is, he hired an expensive chemist from France, and the guy had the talent, but he couldn't get along with the other people. So what does he do? he gets rid of that chemist that can get on, one rotten apple spoils a barrel. So
Yeah.
he kept it. Sometimes you have to make additions or what have you, but he gives you a lot of information on who to pick. You don't pick your relatives. You don't necessarily pick your friends. You pick someone that contribute to the goal. That's what you're trying to accomplish, and those people have to be motivated in some form. It's
Yeah.
usually compensation, but a lot of people would work with you. For example, I think I used one time, if you was doing a community project in Wilmington, North Carolina, or something another, and you might could invite Michael Jordan because that's where he went to school is, but he surely wouldn't be working with you to do something for money, but he could be motivated by the fact it's helping his school where he went to school, his town, and so forth. So people are motivated by different things, but they have to have some kind of reward, or otherwise there's no reason for them to be involved in the mastermind. But so much more can be accomplished with a group of people working together, whether it's man and wife, as he'll use, or it's 3 people or 4 or the number of people. And uh, he'll even liken that to an FDR in the war effort that people work together without regard to their politics for a common goal. But it is important to learn to work with other people because there's just so much more you can get done. You can't do everything yourself and not do any great volume. You have to have a mastermind. And of course, it's very similar to teamwork, except teamwork is just everybody working and contributing, but maybe on some different things. And he described the mastermind as one thing working in perfect harmony. And
Yeah.
I think we got all kinds of examples throughout history of the. And I never read about it anywhere until I read about Hill and Carnegie. If it's anything older than that, I haven't seen it. You might liken the Bible to it in the sense that the Jesus and the apostles.
Yep.
That's probably a pretty good example because they had a common goal.
It's true. I love the mastermind. I studied personal development pretty much my entire adult life. Um, didn't really get into Napoleon until later in life. Um, although it was introduced to me early on, I never read it. Is that crazy? Um, but the mastermind alliance to me, and it can be summed up with, people say, well, the 5 people you spend the most time with is who you're going to be most like. And I totally agree with that. It wasn't until I started hanging out with people like you and Mark Victor Hansen and Grant Cardone and the people that I got in my life, that Greg Walker, who's watching right now. I don't know if he's still on here, but he's a great guy. All of these people who are achieving or have already achieved things that I want to figure out how to do. Well, it makes sense to try to get into the same room with those people. Like, how do they do it? Learn from the people that did what you want to do, right?
Absolutely. Lana, my social media lady, she teaches at the college, social media, and has for a long time. She had a thing uh, made for me, artwork and canvas, and put on the wall and said, there's 2 ways to learn. One's from smarter people and the other through books. And I asked her why she done that. She said, well, you've told me that 100 times or more. And I said, well, if you come up with a third way, I sure would know. I'd like to get in on it, but I've not found anything else except through other people and through books. And
Yeah.
what Ken, I know you found out. What I found out, people are successful. They're the most likely people to help you because
Yep.
they get things done. The old chancellor here at the college lived to be, I think he was 96. Doc was. I was around him a lot because he was I was on the board here at the bank when he's at college. He's also on my bank board as a director. So we spent a lot of time together. We had branches up in the Shenandoah Valley. One of my trustees had a plane. The other guys would fly. Doc didn't like to fly them in planes. So we'd drive up and he'd tell me tales. And I remember I tried to take some notes. One of the things he told me, he said, Donnie, if you ever want something other done, just find you a person who's real busy. He said, because they've got a way of getting things done. And then them other people, they've got the attitude, I'll get around to it. And the around to it don't never come around. And said, or they'll say, I'll say, people said, I'll say what I can do. It's like an invite. You invite somebody, well, I'll try to make it. That means no, yes or no, but a lot of people can't.
I love Grant Cardone has a saying where he says, the biggest lie that we tell ourselves is I don't have enough. I don't have the time. I don't have the time is the big. I believe that we manufacture our own time based on how committed we are to getting it done.
Oh, absolutely. Well, what Grant said was absolutely right. Fact is, I use it as a top of something I wrote on. Say saddest words in English language. I haven't had time. We got 24 hours a day. Fact is, I was coming out of the post office. It's not been too many months ago, and a friend stopped me and said, "Hey, Don, you got a new book out, haven't you?" I said, "Yeah, I might have one in the car." A lady who was standing there overheard the conversation. I knew her face, but I couldn't recall her name right off. She said, "I love to read, but I don't have time." I said, "You mean you don't have 24 hours a day?" She said, "Huh?" I said, "Listen, people on the average per surveys watch television 7 hours a day. We do what we want to do, what we make time to do." That's the reason I read that, and I saw a financial statement on a cable TV, and I said to guys, I said, "Why don't we put us in a cable TV?" I said, "We don't know about a cable TV." I said, "I know there's a lot of money made into it, and they keep buying the competitors and raising the prices, buying competitors, but they're borrowing the money. I seen their financial statement." I said, "Most of their money they bring it in, they're paying the bank, or they're buying up competitors. We'll put the money in. We'll get it. We'll talk to somebody that knows, and we'll get a price. We put the money in. We'll borrow no money." And I said, "We'll put the money in." We did. They got in touch with it. Here's what we did. We charged exactly one half of what they charged. And everybody signed up. I'd signed Ken up. He's also now paying $60. This is years ago, instead of 120.
Yeah.
Ken tells the next door neighbor, who tells his next door neighbor. Ken tells his brother-in-law, tells his brothers, and they all come to us. We never spent one nickel for advertising, not one. We never took an ad out. We got our message told. We did one town, they wanted to buy us, said they cut their prices. I told the guy, I said, "Listen, I was born in the dark, but it wasn't last night. You guys are going to lower the prices. You're all the way all across the state of Virginia. I know what the Federal Trade Commission. You can't lower the price in one town and because you got a competitor unless you raise it. You sit there all the way across the state. You ain't going to do that." And so it left us alone. So we went to the second town. They come back to us again, and we was building. We was building like crazy, and we was taking all their customers. And then we applied for a license for the third and the fourth town. I think we'd had it in about 16, 17 years, I guess. And we weren't taking the money out of it. We just building that thing. And then we negotiated, and it was a heck of a price. And they said, "Okay, we'll issue stock." I said, "No, if I can't deposit in the bank, it's got to be a cashier's check." And the other guys, "What do you think?" Two partners. They said, "One said, well, stock would that be a good thing?" I said, "Yeah, if it's a listed stock, it is, but it's not a listed stock." And I said, "It's not easy marketable. I don't want nothing but cash." So within 1 year, if they paid us out, the man who founded the company, he went to prison for embezzlement from his investors, and so did his son. And that company now no longer exists. It's part of Comcast. So it was a good experience. It was a good experience for my wife. Said, "I can't believe you got a cable TV company. You don't even watch TV." I said, "Everybody else does." But
That's
it was
true.
it was fun. We didn't even have an office. We didn't even build an office. One of the guys was a CPA, and we would meet at his place after work because I was in banking, so I didn't
Yeah.
have time. But we'd meet about every month or so and make decisions on to what shopping networks to put on and so
Wow.
forth. And but it was fun. It was fun. It was fun doing. Uh,
Well, you know, the third part of this book is going the extra mile. What and I'll tell you, I haven't hung it on the wall yet because I don't know which wall to put it on, but I have it framed. You sent me a poster, Stay the Course poster, which is just beautiful. And it's sitting right here back behind me. But um you, man, I mean, you and we met the one time there in person, out at Ramey's house. The you know Man, you go the extra mile. You go the extra 20 miles. Like this poster, along with, I don't know, some other stuff that you sent, just showed up one day out of the blue for no reason. And in my opinion, that's going the extra mile.
well, I think it pays dividends. I always say go the extra mile and then some. But Ken, that's an oldest principle. I don't understand why, don't you? But you can go to church, and I dare say that if there's probably 200 in our church, I'll bet there's not three people in there knows what the word twain means. There's a line in the Bible. It said when a man asked you to go a mile, he said go twain, and that was from when the Jews were complaining about being beast of burden for the Roman soldiers by having forced to carry their equipment or backpacks or what you want to call it.
What's the word? What's the word?
Twain, Twain, and
Like,
that means twice. That means more. That means more.
ah,
And so when it says that when a man asks you to go a mile, go twain. In other words, do more than it's required of you. I mean, to me is that's a given a little bit that's given a little bit extra where it's a dessert or anything else. I
yeah.
don't never. I'm not there going to send somebody one just send them a book. I'm gonna put a I'm gonna put a little pamphlet in there. This one says this could be the most important day in your life. Instructions for studying the book, Think and Grow Rich. I'm gonna put a few other things in there, or I'm gonna send two or whatever. It
I have
yeah
it right here.
yeah. I keep them printed up and
And you put Don, you put handwritten notes on the envelope, and like I understand it. I do that. I do that for people. I try to. I don't think I do it on the scale you do it yet. I'm working on that. I'm a work in progress. But like,
we can all get better. But I'll tell you a story. Once I come in one morning, and my assistant was already here, Anita, and she said, "Don, there's a little girl on the phone. Said she's got a real accent, and said I can't really understand her." Well, quick as I got on there, she said, "Don, this is Olga in St. Petersburg." And I said, Olga, what time is it there? And she said, 5 p.m. is the time differential. And here's what she said was, I had actually met her at a book fair, cute little blonde. And she said, Don said, did you get the money we wired you? And I said, yeah, I sure did. I said, we should have acknowledged it when we got it. Yeah, I said, it came in a couple of days ago. And she said, oh, said, I want to tell you, that picture you sent me in that card, it's so pretty. Said it sits on my desk, and people say, "Oh, that's pretty," and so that's what she called to tell me. Now,
wow.
I've never yet got a phone call somebody thanking me for an email I sent them, thanking you for an email. But
Wow.
someone I read a little book, The Value of Handwritten Notes, and my handwriting, I can't hardly read myself. But to take the time to inscribe a book or something like that, or put a little message in there, to me, it just seems a thing to do. And um, I don't know. I don't think it'd be worth no money 100 years from now, but still yet, if you could put a little sticker on there that says autographed copy and write a little note in there, or if you don't have the stickers, just write a. We started printing a lot of our books with a gift page in them. In order you open it up, it's got a place to and from a separate page in it. The fact is, we did a collector's edition of Think and Grow Rich, and I just you don't have one of them yet because I just got a box of them and they're not on the market. It's a
You can't get them.
no, well, you will be, but they won't release them for about 4 or 5 more months, I think. But I got they sent me a few of them. I just got them.
Wow.
It's a collector's edition. It's
Wow.
gold embossed with gold gilding on the edges, and it's the same book. It's a 386 page sticker. It's exactly this book right here, just a different cover, leatherette, gold embossed with gold gilding on the page with ribbon. But
Wow.
I said, when you do that thing, how about putting a page in there for a gift page? So I'm telling you, to give someone a gift like that, I've had people call me and want to 100. One guy just recently, he wanted to get 100 kids the book, and he was hunting for the cheapest one he could get. And I said, okay, it's a paperback, but you're going to tell me that the kids that's in with your daughter, that you're going to give them a little paperback after they spent 12 years in high school? They ain't going to keep that paperback. I said, you give them something they'll be proud to lay on their desk or carry with them, a nice hardback copy that's got good artwork on it. And I can sell them every time on that.
So if I fly to Virginia and take you to lunch, can I get one? I'm kidding. I'm messing with you.
Yeah, you would definitely get a book.
Oh my gosh, Don, you're too much. I that's what I love about you is you're just Bob Berg and John David Mann wrote the book The Go-Giver, which is actually from Napoleon Hill, right? So many people have written books where they took something that Napoleon Hill did or said, and they wrote a book about it. But you're the epitome of the go-giver. Like you're the guy. It's amazing to me. I love that about you.
I believe I'm not the most religious person in the world, though I'm a faithful tender and I'm a good supporter. And they asked me when they asked me to serve on the finance committee, why would you want me on the finance committee for? And they said, you know what the answer is, at you. but anyway, there's also a verse in there, and I'm not. I wouldn't consider myself a Bible scholar, but they have asked me to make a presentation to the church. There's a verse that says, "Them that give freely will be made richer; them that withhold will suffer." Does that mean anything? I mean, not giving no sermons out because I wouldn't be very good at that. But there's 2 things happen when we get our paycheck. Some of it should go to a need, where it be a church, a school, or ever what, feed the hungry, and then part of it is to invest, to keep. If we got 2 groups of people out there. One people buying or drawing interest or making money on investments, and the other people are paying it. And so many people, as I used to do financial counseling, it was necessary when I was in the banking business because I was there 18 years and I never foreclosed on not one single house loan that I made, not one. But I had to do some counseling.
Wow.
And but so many people if they have a credit card that gets maxed out at 10,000 or what it is, their solution is to get another car. That's just digging a hole deeper. Right. If someone wanted advice from me, I would say, if you got a credit card and you don't pay it off at the end of the month, take your scissors out and cut it up, because you don't have discipline, because you can't operate that way, and you'll never get ahead of paying exorbitant rates. The reason they'll let you keep the card, of course, they get a discount from the merchants, but they also know that a good portion of people, they're going to get a little bit behind on something or other, and they'll start making payments on the card. And the first thing you know, it's out of shape. And they cut the card up or pay it off as quick as they can. And then if they get a card, and it's good to travel with and to use to not have to carry as much cash. I mean, I think they're a tremendous service.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. But but you can become a slave to them if you don't have discipline and take care of it. I got a grandson who's been working 5 years. He don't even have a credit card. The kid's been through college and he works in the finance industry. I asked him about how'd you get by. He said he used a debit card to buy his groceries and he goes eat out or pay his gas. And so he used a debit card. And I just told him, I said, or just be real careful. Your statement, I said, the thing I have about the debit card is someone empty your bank account before you know it. But if it's on a credit card, you get your statement. Look, I didn't make that $200 purchase in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And you can call and before they take it out of your account, the debit card, they take it out for you. You don't really know when they took it out.
You know what though, Don, I got in trouble doing that years ago with credit cards, and I said I'll never have another credit card. I don't need it. I don't want it. If I can't afford it, I'm not buying it. And I don't have a credit card. I'm 55 years old. I do by choice do not have a credit card. And I'm really good at putting things where they need to be just in case something like what you just said happens. So, you know, I think you're right, man. And that is something that especially in America, we're so far in debt. I know a friend of mine that's a dentist that has been a dentist for years. I mean, years and years. And his wife's a dentist, and they're still paying off their dental school debt of 300,000 each or something. You know, it's like there's so much debt that's accumulated and it makes people go into survival mode and not be willing to give, not be willing to help out other people where they need to.
Well, yeah, if you can't take care of yourself before you help others, I've seen a bumper sticker that says, "If you want to help poor people, don't be one of them." But
Yeah.
yeah, and honestly, and you look on the internet, probably the biggest cause of divorce is not infidelity, but financial problems.
Yep.
He blames her and she blames him. You're spending $50 a week to get your hair done. How much money you blowing at the golf course? You know, instead of sitting down and saying, "Hey, we're going to have to quit eating out. We're going to start taking our lunch with us, and we'll just go out and eat one night a week, and so forth. And we're going to pay this credit. We're going to pay extra on this credit card. We'll get it paid out, and have a plan. Have a plan and work that plan. Plan your work and then work your plan. And to get you said, because really, if you don't have financial freedom, you're under a lot of stress. If you go home, you come home with your wife, and she says, "Well, Ken, let's go down to that new restaurant." And he said, "I've heard about that place. It's good, but man, it's expensive. We'll have to wait till the first of the month to get we get our check." That's not living a good life. Eisenhower said that, I used that quote in one of the books. He said, "If all you're getting out of life is food, clothing, and shelter," he said, "they get that in prison. Life's a little more than that. Life's a little more than that. You should have a little. You should have a little money to travel and to do things to help other people." That's the reason I wrote that book with Jim Stovall. That's my idea, right on giving, gift of giving. That we do things while we're living, and we see the effects of helping a kid go to school and so forth, and helping people that has got no means of helping you back. Just the fact that it needs to be done. But maybe when they see what was helpful for them, they'll pass it along and do it for somebody else.
You know, the part about giving is near and dear to my heart. I used to live in Atlanta, and I went to one of those big super churches that's televised and all of that. And this pastor gave out one Sunday, had the ushers go around, and you took an envelope out of everybody got one envelope. You open it up, and it had a little 3.5 or 3x5 card with a brand new $1 bill stapled to the back of it. And it's the scripture, Malachi 3, bring the whole tithe and offering into my storehouse, and my children may have food. Test me in this way, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing you'll not have enough room to store it all. And I happen to have that memorized because, Don, I still have 35 years later, I still have this card that I've carried it in my wallet until it almost fell apart. And I still have, and I was homeless when I was a raging alcoholic. I was homeless for a while. Always had this $1 bill with me, and I never spent it. I could have bought a candy bar, whatever.
You give me an idea. I'm going to do that.
This right here, it literally changed the trajectory of my life. And I'll tell you something. I'm sitting in church one day, and my ex-wife and I only had $20 left to our name. We were broke. We were so poor, I couldn't pay attention. And I said, she had the $20 in her purse, and the plate was coming around. I said, give me that $20. She said, why? I said, I'm putting it in the plate. She goes, no, you're not. I said, I am. Give me that $20. She was madder than a hornet. I said, give me the $20. I'm putting it in the plate. And she's like, I can't believe you're doing this. I said, I just have a feeling. I just have a feeling that we got to put our faith in God, that it's going to be okay. I put that 20, and it left us with $0, Don. No checking account money, no nothing, no. And after service, I go up and we're talking to the pastor and his wife. And I got to be honest, for a moment, I'm thinking, what did I do? Why did I do that? I got to go find, money now. And this guy walks up behind me, taps me on the shoulder, and he says, he's wearing a $3,000 suit. I turn around, shake his hand. He said, my name's Blake, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, I just felt moved to come up here and introduce myself. And he said, what do you do for a living? I said, well, I was 20 years old. I'm in between jobs. And he said, I said, I've done car detailing, all that. He goes, I have a brand new Porsche and I have a Honda Accord brand new, and I need them both cleaned up, and I'll give you $600 if you'll do them. And he hands me 3 $100 bills. Mind you, I go into church that day with a $20 net worth, and he hands me $300, says, come over to my house tonight for dinner. And I'm going to give you the other $300, and you take one of the cars and bring it back. And so, Don, from that moment at 20 years old, it was like God said, stop being a selfish little butthole and start giving, start helping other people. And the moment that I went out, I mean, you talk about faith, maybe it was just stupidity, but I thought, we only got $20. What do we have to lose? Let's just put it in the plate, give it to God, and see what he does with it. And man, within 15 minutes, he multiplied it. I don't even know how many times, but that's how much I believe in giving and helping other people. That's how I live my life. And that is how you live your life. I know it. I see it.
Absolutely. And I'm so tickled to do my tax returns. I got the people that did it when I was a bank, the same firm, done them 40 some years. So they got all my records, and I have to do the gift tax thing and all that other thing. But to see how much I gave during the year and accumulate all that. And of course, I know from the church, they have a CPA that does them. He'll give me a thing that shows all 26 Sundays. I write 2 checks every Sunday. I write one for the church, write one for the mission. I put them in there. So,
Wow.
So they're talking about 104 checks to the church. So, but then I have a lot of other. I like the Shriners, and I like St. Jude's and Billy Graham Association and some others person and the college. I'm a major. I was a volunteer of the year last year at the college. The year before, I was benefactor of the year. And I was volunteer of the year 20 years before that. So I've tried to do what I've been absolutely I've been absolutely blessed. And man, and you're not supposed to boast about it, but I can remember last year their kids. I followed the girls, and they played in the state championship. They won it 5 out of the last 7 years. Last year they lost it. The little girl that was a star, she's just a, she had hurt her ankle. She on a play and going up for a rebound, come down wrong, and she couldn't really run. She's faster than lightning, but they lost by 4 points. But anyway, my brother-in-law and my sister, we went there and we checked out and everything, and it's probably it was up. I usually eat breakfast a lot early, and it's 10 o'clock or or uh, or 11, and we went to an IHOP, and this during this period of time when they have a hard time restaurant people. There's all kinds of people in the lobby waiting. I could look there and see that they they was there was empty tables. Our tables hadn't been cleaned off, and so I seen a girl go by and I give her $20. I said, I can't stand here all much longer. I said, you find me a place to sit down. We'll sit at a dirty table. And so the lady did see us. Then she came and cleaned the table, and she sat where I could see the kitchen. She was helping in the kitchen. And I mean, she was just, and she was, I would say she was elderly. She sure wasn't no youngster, and big lady. And so my sister said, Don, you paid for the whole tea paper. Let me pay for the bill. Okay. She said, she's not charging you because you already tipped her. So she come over and I started to leave. I gave her $100. We're in Richmond, Virginia now. I'll probably never be back at this place again. She grabbed me and hugged me. She said, you don't know how bad I need this. She said, you wouldn't marry me, would you? I said, I wouldn't be of very much help to his marriage, but it was fun. It was just very enjoyable doing to say that you could take $100 and make someone feel that good and all. It's just amazing. And I see, we have all kinds of opportunities that if we just stop and think a second that you know I'm always partial to law enforcement services. I know a lot of people might dis, dis disagree, but I can always remember when I was a kid. My mother had a brother that was a deputy sheriff, and he was murdered, and my dad told me that my uncle was making less than $200 a month. Of course, this was right after World War II, and there's an incident occurred where this guy went AWOL. And they sent papers to the sheriff's department to pick him up, and they did. And they met him with the MPs, and they sent him to prison. You don't go AWOL during the war. It's World War II. So they got out of prison. He got him a gun and got up in the woods across my uncle's house, and my uncle and his wife was holding hands. Someone was coming by to take him out to dinner, and he shot him and killed him. It's always have partial to them people, knowing to protect us for the amount of respect and amount of wages that most of them are paid. So
Yeah.
I love to see 2 or 3 of them in a restaurant somewhere and just tell the waiters, them guys sitting back there in the corner, would you bring me their ticket? And I don't know them and never see them again, and pay for their meal. That's just can always remember my uncle for that. But
Though, isn't it true that sorry, I've had bronchitis for 30 days and it just randomly shows up. But everybody needs help. Everybody needs to feel important and wanted and right? Am I wrong? I feel like
no,
everybody needs that.
no, well, Maslow's thing on actualization. The most important thing in the world is to feel to be appreciated. It's to be loved,
Right.
to be wanted. There ain't nothing, nothing can take a place of that. Money can't take a place of it, and nothing else. It's you're not a worthless thing, and that's all you got to do. Is I learned a long time ago is to give credit for the people I'm working with. I take care of everyone. I never had an employee leave me when I worked because it wasn't going to be treated nowhere else. uh, is Don Drew. And then to the board is, I guess I was arrogant because I never asked for a raise in my life. I can remember one of them, we had this old real estate guy, he's real old, and he said, we've took care of everybody like Don said, but said we never discussed him. Said uh, uh, we don't need to leave the room and discuss what kind of salary we're going to raise his pay to. And one of the large stockholders said, Mr. Brown, said, look at the income statement and look what Don's doing. He said, we're going to pay him and then get out of here because I got things to do. And he said, if he don't perform next year, we throw him out the window. And they always took care of me. They always, and the same way with the foundation. I don't, he said, you guys, yeah, I'm doing this. You need to pay me more. You know, they can see the numbers. They get a monthly report. They know what we're doing. They see all the publicity and stuff we're doing. And they, if you take care of the people, you take care of the people that you're working with, they make you look good. Because I'm lost with that. I'm gonna give them credit. I don't need no credit. I don't need no recognition. I take care of the. I mean, Zane had set this thing up on this interview. He came to work with me in the eighth grade when he was 14 years old, and I started him at $10 an hour. He worked 20 hours a week. He worked all the way through high school. He finished college in 3 years, and he got a master's degree since he's been working. He's been working here with me for 12 years, and he's only 26 years old. He bought his first house when he's 21 years old without any help, and he started college at age 17 with a stock account, buying stock, and he had a retirement account that I helped him set up. So we have to have those type of people, and you couldn't imagine. I'm good to him. I let him off at 3 o'clock every day because he's got 2 little kids in daycare, and his wife's a nurse, and she can't get off. He comes in early, runs my stuff off, but he leaves at 3 o'clock a day, pick up his 2 little girls, and so I take care of him. That's because that's what we're supposed to be doing. It's just an investment. Without good people, golly, I can use my cell phone to call you or to send you a text message, but that's about the limit of it. Really, I've thought this is I do have ample stock. So, but and that's an I-15, but they should make them give old people like me when they sell them phone. They should give them lessons. Ain't nothing comes with that thing but a charger and that.
I've thought, because I'm a tech geek, and I help a lot of people learn their cell phones and some of the tricks that they'll do, and I've thought an awful lot about doing some classes, but my goodness, I don't. It'd be hard to do online teaching people, but I don't know that there's. Again, that's something that I do a lot of live streams where I find new technology and I teach.
I bet you a program that and that stuff, and with someone like Russell Brunson, what he does, and in other words, everybody's got a specialty. One of the stories I read was a guy, he saw that some guy posted pictures with dogs, so he got the idea, and he got his own internet. He don't have one now. This guy didn't have one of them, and he collected hundreds of pictures of golden retrievers and packed them together and sold them, marketed, made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So if you got one thing, like you could teach people lessons on that, that they could get some 2 hours or something other instructions by paying you what you wanted to charge them, $59 or $79. You got enough what you decide to do it on, and you got enough of them the publicity. There'd be a stream of money coming in.
Yeah. I've thought an awful lot about it because I have people reach out to me all the time. Hey, I need to know how to do this with my iPhone. I don't know how to, and if they tell me they have an Android, I tell them I'll pray for them. But I love giving them, but listen, this is about your book, and I want to make sure that everybody understands this. So let's talk about the final part here, learning from adversity. I heard a quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer years ago. and I've carried it with me for a long time. And that is, pain is the predecessor of all wisdom. And it's typically not watching Don put his hand on the burner that makes me go, that burner's hot. I'm not going to do that because I'm dumb like that. I got to go touch the burner myself to find out. And oh, God, that's hot. Yep. It burnt me just like it did Don. Talk about the learning from adversity thing, because I think that people see failure in the wrong way. Like, I think that people see failure as a bad thing. I see failure as a good thing.
Yeah, it gives you opportunity to try again.
Yeah.
If they'll learn one simple lesson when things don't go right, they're lessons learned. I mean, I can tell you some things that they're funny. One of them was in the art business. I thought I was getting really good at it, and I went to a big famous art market, and I put some material in it that I'd purchased from a Russian painter. It didn't bring what I thought it ought to bring. And I learned from it. I thought it was funny. It didn't break me or nothing, but I went to Bethesda, Maryland, and it was nice. As people well dressed, and they were serving wine and cheese and all this stuff, and pictures and the paintings in the catalogs and all. It's kind of neat and all. But I didn't put a minimum on it, and I'd sold stuff to Sotheby's places before, and it was never necessary because they always a lot more than I thought. But so I laughed it off and said, "Boy, Don, you learned a lesson that time. You're not as smart as I thought you was." So I bet you the next art I sent out, when I signed that contract, it had a minimum in it, or if it didn't sell, it shipped back to me. So if you look at things that go wrong, that is simply a lesson learned. It's lessons learned, and the more mistakes you've made, the more opportunities you've had to get something done. But a lot of people say it's a reason to quit. No, not if you got passion, and if you're determined, you come back that much. You come back that much forward. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get back up.
That's it.
And sometimes things can go so easy, you can maybe get overconfidence, and it's necessary to have things that confront us. We can look at them as an obstacle or a stepping stone, either one. I said, if you can't go over the mountain and you can't go under it, drill through it. I said, there's always a solution to it. I did it. You talk about doing Zig Ziglar. I did a fundraiser at a Christian college in Pennsylvania, December 19th, 2003. I know it. He took my picture and he signed it, "Don, God loves you, and I do too." And he sent it to me. It's on my wall in my office.
Wow.
And he said, everything in life comes down to how bad do you want it?
Amen.
How bad do you want it? And that's me, as I was driven. I mean, I made $3 when I was 5 years old. $3 was worth more than selling $1 million piece of real estate, because it drove me when I found out I could make some money. I never asked my dad for a quarter in my life that I could ever recall. I did. My mother asked for $8, and you'd think I'd try and rob the bank to join the Boy Scouts. And she said, "Honey, we can't waste your money. Your daddy calls around that mines, he might get killed, and we wouldn't have no money at all. That's enough to scare you to death." She said, "Once you mow your uncle's yard, don't he pay you a quarter every time you mow it?" "Yeah, I push more." Said, "He ain't got enough but them girls." And I picked up ball. I made more than that much money, but I decided I didn't want to go into the Boy Scouts. I'd rather had the money because it'd been my money, and I learned to make the money. And I can list you dozens and dozens of things I did to make money as growing up, from cutting Christmas trees to getting corn out of the garden to picking wild strawberries to feeding the mines ponies in the mines on the weekends when there was nobody there, and just on and on. I sold mistletoe at Christmas time.
The zoo. Mike just said the zoo. I remember the zoo.
That was the best word. I guess I can tell it. I guess it's
tell it. You've said it before. Do it, definitely.
I made a lot of money in high school, and I said, "Daddy, do I have to pay tax on this money I'm making?" He said, "Well, kids don't pay taxes." And I took him for his word. I never did file, so they'd have to come get me because I was in high school. But no boy was in. I think he was about 2/3 Indian. He taught me how to catch rattlesnakes, and we put them on the exhibit, and I charged a quarter to see them, and then acquired some little souvenirs, and got Dad to help me put up a little shack of a building to put the souvenirs in, and I learned a lot. Ken, if you stop there one weekend and you bring some fed people there, and see, a lot of times people would bring, they come in, they go up, they left here to go up north, Ohio, and when the coal business got bad, they went to Ohio, Michigan, Indiana to work in the car plants and so forth. They come in, there wasn't a lot of places to take them. You know, we had a lot of entertainment, got the outside. But if you come and you bring the people and you say, I bring me some friends, I'd recognize you next time you come. And I'd say, Ken, you don't have to pay me none. I appreciate you bringing these people. Why don't you do me a favor and show them around, show them which snakes, which with rattlesnakes and copperheads and so forth. But I had stuff to it, so I was making money. I had a bunch of monkeys, a black bird, some exotic birds and so forth.
Oh my God.
And, but I learned that. I learned that. And the old boy drove a box truck. I said, Ross, I'm selling y'all's Coca-Cola. Y'all should put me some signs up down the mountain. I ain't got no money. I say y'all put them signs up. You can put Royal Crown Cola on it, but put down the bottom of it, love Indian Mountain Reptile Garden ahead. And I learned to make, you take a quarter souvenir and you put a little sticker on it that said Indian Mountain Reptile Gardens, and I still got a few of them. You could get $1 out of something, you give a quarter. Mike said, tell them about the story when the bear got out.
Yeah.
They called me at school, and I was driving an old 36 Ford. And they over the speakerphone, Mr. Beverly's class, he said, Mr. Beverly, is Don Green in there? Yes, he is. Well, he's got to go home. His mother's on the phone. She's scared to death. His bear got out. So it probably took me about 10 minutes drive. Like I had to get there, and there's traffic everywhere stopped. And he's just running around in the fields, just cutting it. And the bread man, Monroe Moore, drove a Kern's bread truck. And I said, Monroe, give me a dozen of them little Davy cakes. You remember little Davy oatmeal cakes?
Oh, yeah.
A dozen of them cakes. And I heard, hey, Sammy. And I take that cellophane, I take it off, and I throw that cake to him where he spell them out, and he'd eat it. And I kept backing up. I get down, he's eating 11 of them. I got one left, and I got him to the door. And I pitched it in there, and I didn't pitch it very far. And he gets up there like that. I know what he thought, he could get that and back out. And just as he got a hold of that, I was behind him. I kicked his butt, and he jumped in there, and I shut the door. I thought it, but you know, it's funny. I was the only one in the family that thought the thing it was funny. I thought it was funny.
Oh my God.
Grandma was visiting with us, and she told my dad, she said, if that boy don't get himself killed, he's going to get somebody killed. But I thought it was funny. But they did. But I got in there. I learned to wrestle him and play with him. I wasn't scared of nothing. I guess I didn't have good sense. But,
oh my! Do you ever get bit by a rattlesnake?
No, I got bit in the britchy legs, but didn't. It bit their fangs into my britchy legs. It didn't get into my skin.
Wow.
But I come kind of close to it a few times, showing off. I got bit by a black snake one time.
Has anybody ever thought that there's might be something mentally wrong with you?
Oh yeah. but I tell them they did Marconi the same way. You know, Marconi. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I honestly think that most of us entrepreneurial types, they're just, man, it's like you're glutton for punishment sometimes.
Well, it's the best life in the world.
It is.
For example, those ashtrays, I bought them. I came from Panama City, Florida. It's amazing. Some things I can remember, and I can't remember my phone number. But I bought these ashtrays. There's 48 into a thing, into a case, and they were different. And I can remember the jokes that was on them. There were jokes on them, and with a little sticker on them. They cost a quarter, and they sell them for $1, made 75 cents. And some people buy 10 or 15 of them because it's cute. I mean, one of them had a little girl, and she's got her stomach out there, and with a caption below it said, "I should have danced all night." other funny things on them that was good laughs. And but we sold flags and but a lot of ashtrays and just little knickknacks. But what made the difference was it had that little label on there. You get them on a roll and peel one off. Like today, we use autograph stickers to sticker and put on the books that come on a roll. You get rolls like that. It said printed. It said Indian Mountain Reptile Garden, US 23, Wise, Virginia, and you put it on it, and all of a sudden it made it a valuable piece of something. Because people, they want something to take back with them.
Yeah.
They want something to take back with them, and there wasn't that many places around. But it was I even got on television I had a bobcat. And he didn't like it very good. The lights was too bright. I had a bobcat. He was maybe 2/3 tame.
Oh
I could get him out by putting a collar and stuff on him. And I had a big old stump-tailed monkey that was smarter than a lot of people I've been around. And I had a pet skunk that had been fixed to where he wouldn't stink, and we just added stuff to it so long. And I bought the bear. I bought the bear off the Indians down in North Carolina, and it's probably a federal offense also. But didn't know it. But it's funny. You put him in a little cage. He was about that big. He's real small. It didn't anymore as a boy or girl. So somebody suggested the name Sammy. And that worked either way. And what he grew fast. But it's funny. We coming through the Smoky Mountain National Park, and they were stopping traffic, and the people were giving you a little pamphlet, and the pamphlet said, give you warning about the animal. It said, do not feed the bears. We had one in the back end of the truck.
Oh my God. Oh my. You're like, we're gonna have to feed him eventually, or he's gonna eat us.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, have mercy. So everybody, okay. So where can everybody go get this book, Don?
It's on Amazon. If they go to our website, it's Naphill, NAPHILL.org, naphill.org.
Hold on, I'm gonna put that up on screen here. Naphill.org. Hold on. Nap Hill. Probably should have asked you this before we went live, Don. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No problem.
Naphill.org. And they can get the book there at naphill.org.
They sure can.
Okay. Everybody go get a copy of this book, Napoleon Hill's Guide to Achieving Your Goals, the 4 principles of success, 4 proven principles of success. And mine says autographed copy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to make them a good price if he'll get us directly. If he want, if he'll want to buy, if he'll want to buy 25 or 100 or 500, like that.
So they can reach out to you through the website for that.
Yeah, they can contact us, and I would simply let them pay for it and send an email to the publisher, and they'll direct ship them by FedEx ground.
That's so awesome. So awesome. Don Green, you're one of my favorite people on the planet. You're a good man. And I think the world should be out here trying to emulate what you've done in life. Well,
it all comes down as old Zig says, how bad do you want it? And I just have that burning desire, I mean, I go to bed thinking about something, and I do sleep good, and I wake up and I got that little card on where I ate my cereal in the morning, oatmeal. Said, God, show me someone I can help today. In Jesus' name, amen. I'm going to do something for today's out.
Wow.
I'm going to send somebody a book, send somebody a note. I'm going to do something that maybe helps out a little bit. As one of our guys says, that you quoting, he says, we can't do everything, but we can do something.
It's true. Listen, man, I've given away my last dime, literally. People say, "Oh, you'd never give away your last dime." I've done it, and it's a scary thing to do.
I'm gonna do this thing here. I'll get that done real quick on that Malachi. On that, just take a 3x5 card and type that verse up on it, and
Yeah.
clip a dollar bill to it and pass it out.
They actually, here, I'll show you again. It's so fragile now. I almost thought about taking this tattered thing and having it framed, but it's a 3x5 card. They put the Malachi scripture on there, and then on the back they stapled. It's stapled, it's folded up. I can't, I mean, I can try to unfold it, but it's got, if you look there at the top, it's got a staple. They stapled the dollar bill to it, and I've never spent that dollar bill. It was a reminder, bring the whole time. You know, people think that they have to go to a building on Sunday to go to church, and I don't believe that personally.
No.
I think, and I don't think that bringing the whole tithe and offering to God means that you go give it to a church necessarily. I don't think it's a bad thing to do that, but you can go give it to anybody, a homeless person, anybody.
For example, I know from experience, you can take $3,000 some dollars and you can build a little house in Nicaragua.
Yeah.
It's a concrete pad, metal walls, and metal roof. There's people down there living on the dirt ground, and for the walls they got plastic sheets of plastic and a piece of tin overhead. They're living on that. You can build a little house. The last one I did down there was now, and the church don't know this. Nobody's a pastor because I wouldn't go around telling people that. You're
right.
But because you're not supposed to. But he said the last one they did, the lady had kids. This is a concrete floor, and he said the lady, she was so thrilled and so happy. She took her shoes off. She wouldn't walk on that concrete floor with her shoes on. She wanted to be barefooted, afraid to mess up the floor. So when you can spend a few $1,000s to do something like that, it don't have, like you said, don't have to be done to church. I mean, it could be done through St. Jude's. It could be done through the Shriners Crippled Children. I've got a little, let's see, grandniece. She was born with a hip, and my wife recognized it. She walked the waddles, and she had a hip out, and she had surgeries and had to have in a cast for, I don't remember, it's a long time. Today she's a professional nurse, and
Wow.
and I know that resonated with her. She got help from and their family didn't have the money. I mean, she had surgery and all with the Shriners, and they paid for everything. And she remembered that, and she's a nurse. She's been a nurse probably for 8 or 10 years now, I guess, and loves what she does. But I'm sure that the attention she got, and you know, and somebody had to provide the money for it. You know,
Yep.
Somebody had to provide the money for it.
And you know, I hear what you say about we're not supposed to tell about what we do, and I agree. If you're walking around doing stuff just so you can brag about it, well, you're probably not going to be blessed, quite frankly. But I do think that it's not a bad thing to share a little bit here and there, because
just an example or something other.
yeah,
When I say something other, I just mean here's some possibilities. You know, can you think about St. Jude? You think about the Shriners or what have you, whatever. But I remember our pastor was CPA, and went to for Presbyterian Church for a long time, and he transferred. But so he'd be close to his in-laws. His wife was an only child, and they were elderly. And he said, and I've heard him say it more than once, people send their money where their heart is. They send their money where their heart is. And yeah, we can't do everything that needs to be done, but we can do something. But together, all of us could do it all if everybody contributed. I mean, like, I don't know. I asked a good friend. I said, you know, everybody when they get 80 or so, said you'd be thinking what you're going to do with the money. So what do you mean that? I said, I don't think we're going to take it with us, but I said, you got it. But if you go before I do and you're able to take it with you, I said, would you let me know how you done it?
What that country song goes, ain't never seen no hearse with a luggage rack.
No,
Like, so Don, listen, I know you got other things to do today. I really appreciate you jumping on here. This has been fun. Always fun having you on and talking. And everybody make sure you go over to naphill.org and grab a copy of Napoleon Hill's Guide to Achieving Your Goals, the 4 proven principles of success, and read it, do something with it, change your life. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it?
yeah, I appreciate it because we're a nonprofit, help a lot of poverty-stricken area kids go to school, both high school and college, and that's what we'll do. Of course, we do a lot of other work like prison work and so forth, but
That's
that's what
awesome.
we're trying to help other people.
Well, I certainly appreciate you're a gift to this world. So thank you, man. I really
Well,
appreciate you.
I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to tell a few people that
Yeah.
yeah, it's very kind of you.
It's been fun, man. I always, always, always. All right, I'm going to end the live stream. So everybody watching, if you've not shared this out, you can redeem yourself right now and go ahead and share this out with everybody that you know, on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and everywhere. We're live everywhere right now. So go ahead and share this out. Appreciate y'all watching. Don, thank you. I appreciate you coming on.
You're welcome anytime.
We'll see. And don't hang up on me yet, Don. Don't leave me. Don't leave me.
Okay.
All right. We'll see y'all later.